Hello and welcome back to the Thieves Guild podcast, the companion podcast to a history of the Forgotten Realms. Welcome. I'm Nana.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Vincent.
And today we are going over, can D&D cure the loneliness epidemic?
Sorry, that's funny. I love it. We're going to be talking about the 1980s classic film Flash Gordon.
Yes.
And then I am actually going to be a bit of smart here. Who is Vecna? And going into the character's history and his changes throughout the years.
Nice.
Hell yeah, I'm excited. This is part one of the podcast. If you want part two, where we answer questions, give some additional context about the topics, and let ourselves get a little bit more off topic than we usually do, you can find that by becoming a member of the Keep over on our Patreon, and you'll find the link down below. Now, let's get into it. Okay. We don't have to start with the heavy, but we shouldn't end with the heavy. So, who wants to go first?
Megan,
You
go
okay?
first. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's
I
end
can go
with
first.
Vecna.
All right. Let me pull up a photo. Come on. Paste that. There we go. All right. Nope, it didn't go yet. All right.
You're good. I have to grab my iPad anyway.
Okay. There's not going to be many photos. Just bear with me. Okay, so Flash Gordon. So Flash Gordon is a space opera superhero film from the 1980s. It is a movie that is based on one of the most influential comic strips of the same name from 1934, created by Alex Raymond. It was actually produced by Dino De Laurentiis, who is a very famous Italian producer who has done other sci-fi fantasy films, like the King Kong 1970s remake, Dune, Evil Dead 2. And his what when I was researching, people called Italianness is very present in this film. So I will be also going over a little bit of that later.
I mean, the poster's incredible.
As a fun aside, I can't hear De Laurentiis without thinking of What We Do in the Shadows anymore. There's a joke. There's an episode they get interviewed, and Nandor is Nandor the Relentless introduces himself, and the reporter is like, Nandor De Laurentiis, and it just keeps calling him that the entire time.
I love
so
that.
I hear that name and I just think of that scene.
Oh my god, I must not have gotten to that part yet. I'm only on season 2.
It's
the
good.
last season. It was in the last season.
I know, it's so fun. So fun fact about this film is that George Lucas loved these old Universal Flash Gordon serials so much, as a kid, that he wanted to make a modern version based on the comics. Unfortunately, unfortunately though, he could not get the rights at the time because another Italian film director, screenwriter, producer, Federico Fellini, owned the rights. And so this led to Lucas making Star Wars. So it's really interesting because a lot of people who worked on Star Wars worked on this film. And I see a lot of Star Wars-ness in Flash Gordon. Because if Lucas had the rights, there might not have ever been a Star Wars. So
absolutely not. Yeah. If he had secured the rights, the film would be different as we know it. Film, 100%. Fandom, the effect Star Wars has. Yeah.
Because this is Star Wars, but worse.
This is a horrifying thought experiment of how this could have changed cinema history.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about how much I dislike this film. The last thing I do want to comment on before I move on to that is that all of the music was performed and composed by Queen. So we've got a lot of rock guitar, a lot of keyboards for most of the action sequences, and then any of orchestral pieces were done by someone named Howard Blake. But the cool thing that I found about this, because I'm trying to find highlights, things that I do like about this movie that I highly dislike, is that it was one of like the earliest like high budget feature films to use a score composed primarily of a rock band. Because the only other one that I can think of is The Who's Tommy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. And then it kind of made the way for other like rock artists to make their own movies and have their own say in other films, which I think is really fascinating. So
I
like,
have a fun
good
fact.
job, Flash Gordon. Yes.
Queen doing the music for Flash Gordon is a like snowball effect that eventually leads to is it Pantera or Anthrax did a track for SpongeBob SquarePants?
Pantera.
Oh, Pantera.
Pantera.
It's Pantera.
It's Pantera. I think Metallica did
Probably.
as well.
No,
or
they
was
just
it
did a merch
Shark They did?
collaboration.
No.
That's what it was. I can't think of Tommy though without thinking of, and it was. I remember when it came out, and it was dragged at the time. Was Limp Bizkit's version of Behind Blue Eyes, but that is actually a
I
pretty
actually
good
really liked.
cover. I like
I
it
don't
too.
know that.
It doesn't do
yeah.
a lot different, but it's still quite good. It got dragged at the time though.
I bet. Movies, I feel like movies and media like that back in like the 90s weren't as popular than they were in the 70s and
100%.
80s. So that's probably why. But I bet it's a cult classic now, just like this film. Which I'm like, oh god. Listen, I saw it once. Absolutely hated it. I watched it a second time. I don't hate it, but there will not be a third time. Like,
It's
feels...
one of those you have to stop and go like, is this the mere exposure phenomena, or is this not as bad as we thought it was?
Is this
What's
actually
happening?
less bad the second time?
For me, if the serials were so popular in the 30s and people were so excited for this, it kind of feels like this was almost like a deliberate parody of that. Because it's visually vibrant, it's like flamboyantly over the top, and the whole movie feels like a campy fever dream. Like, I don't know if it's so bad that it is good, but to me, it's just bad taste because it's more style over substance. It's more spectacle over plot. And like, I don't think that there's a ton of deeper meaning to it, but that's just me being really bad at like finding deeper subtext and deeper meanings in a lot of things. Because when I watch these films, I turn my brain off and I think, wow, this was either really good or wow, this was really bad. So there are a lot of things that I did notice in the second watch is that the character tropes are actually quite good. Like, you know, we have the hero, Flash Gordon, who is bumbling wreck. I don't know how he survived. He should have died a long time ago in this film. We've got
should
our
have died.
honestly, he should have been dead. We have our damsel, partially in distress, Dale Arden. We have Zarkov, who is the mad scientist. And then something that I hate to call it this, but I think it's quite funny actually, the bald of evil, which is Ming because he's evil and bald. And a lot of villains during this time were evil and bald.
Uh-huh.
There are quite some other tropes too that I will actually go into deeper in our secondary part 2 because they're quite fun and super fascinating. But one of the ones that I actually found super interesting was the more darker like undertone of like the sex, violence, and power that this film has that I didn't actually think about until the second time I watched it.
I mean,
so, like,
those brows are giving sex and power struggle.
it is very like sexual manipulation with the Princess Aura. Like, you know, she's manipulating Flash to do her bidding to make like Prince Baron of the tree people jealous, which I don't even know if they like each other because they seem to hate each other, but then they like love each other. Confusing as fuck.
They're in the
She
middle of their
manipulates.
enemies to lovers arc.
It's a really interesting enemies to lovers arc. It just keeps going back and forth. She, you know, she I feel like she's orchestrating everything to her own design using her sex and sexuality because she knows she has it and she can use it.
Gotcha.
Especially like the undertones of like more of her father's done some pretty nasty things to her. It's not specifically said in the film, but it is sort of like there is that subtext underneath that she
So
is
it's
afraid of him.
the trauma-driven femme fatale.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
actually that's almost like what I have almost exactly. Not trauma driven, but femme fatale. But I also see a lot of like control and like during the time it was in the 1980s. So like Cold War fear of totalitarianism, anti-fascist, anti-war. Like Ming is literally controlling his population with fear. He like has everyone under his grip. If you step out of line, like I will kill you and your home and everything. So that is also quite dark for a fantasy sci-fi film, I think. But it works because then it gives Flash Gordon something to fight for and make him the hero. Just I have so many issues with him. Like I said, he should have died. So there's a lot of things in this film that I don't understand, which is like hot hail. What is hot hail? Pieces of the moon falling to Earth. That's weird. Um, Having flying lessons, but not being able to land your plane or actually fly. Looking at you, Flash Gordon. The football references, I don't understand. He's a football star. So that was weird. He fights
Oh,
one of
he
his
peaked in high
battles.
school.
Oh, 100%. He fights one of his battles with like a someone throws like a makeshift football looking thing at him and he's like dodging like I don't know. It's very strange to me that this is what the direction they went with. It's
Oh my god.
he's
We've
such
come
a
a
man.
long way from the anti-pollution and like lab
Ugh,
safety message of the original Flash Gordon.
it is it's never ending how confused I was about this
Oh my
whole film.
god.
Like the fun thing is just the background in general. Because it was where's my notes? Oh my god. I'm like going back and forth. This is so awkward. It was photographed by the same person, I believe his name is Gilbert Tyler, who was the director of photography for Star Wars. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
It's
he
Taylor.
saw like the dark gray kind of drab Star Warsy and decided to flip it. And this film is bright and just like psychedelic. It is very cool.
100%.
Um, absolutely. But
Well,
it
it's
just
very very pulp comics, like whereas
Mhm.
Star Wars was influenced by it, but like its aesthetic was very like, which
Dirty
a lot of people
space.
love, myself included. Yeah, dirty space. I love.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's a lot of people's problem with the prequels is it's too clean, it's too flashy. Of like yeah, because it's leaning into more the pulp
Too
aesthetic that like
flashy.
influenced.
But,
Not intended, but loved.
But so good.
Yeah, it's very very pulpy, and I do like regardless of the film being good, as visually beautiful.
Aesthetically,
Like
oh,
yes.
it is quite stunning. Yeah,
it's an
I will
assault on
admit
the
that.
senses.
There's also quite a few other like Star Wars connections that I I was unsure because I couldn't find some of the comic strips of these things if they were based on Star Wars or if Star Wars took it from Flash Gordon since George Lucas was inspired by the serials. A lot of like the scenes with the tree men, like they live in trees like Ewoks, bringing back Ewoks, always talking about the Ewoks. Uh,
Merchandising.
they live in like it's a swampy area. There's a lot of things with the Hawkmen as well that I could see from influenced by Star Wars or Star Wars. And it's all interconnection Star Wars Flash Gordon. So
Would
it's
you like to
very
know why this happens?
yes.
So, the biggest influence for most effects people at the time, including model artists and miniature artists, is a guy
Mhm.
named Ray Harryhausen, who did
Yep.
a lot of old films with practical puppets. So,
Harryhausen's.
I was thinking that too.
Harryhausen's.
Harryhausen.
She called him Googly Bear. Oh, Googly Bear. Yeah, that Harryhausen,
Sorry.
named for Ray Harryhausen. His style and the way that he like basically made creatures accidentally lent itself to many a model and puppet and effects maker like coming to the same answer and creating Ewok like creatures, Hawkmen type creatures, large
Mhm.
yak type creatures. Like it all comes from that influence of Harryhausen.
That's so cool. I think that's fantastic that there's usually one person or one type of influence and everybody takes from it and creates something that
Mm-hmm.
is their own. I love that. That's absolutely beautiful. It's also reason like one of the reasons why like I loved the costumes of this film. They're
Oh God, yes.
so they're like the best thing that like it was one of the reasons why I like kept watching where the wardrobe and the styling. Um it was all from an Italian costume designer. You know, bold colors. We have like these super dynamically structured shapes with
Mm-hmm.
rich embellishments that just craft this fantasy, this sci-fi film. So it looks like it's from another world. But Flash Gordon still looks like a plastic Ken doll. He's like
I
a
think that might
modern
be on
He-Man.
purpose.
I don't know. I was like, "Dang, his chin and it looks very, like, structured." Like, he shouldn't look like that, but the actor that's what the actor looks like. He looks like a Ken doll. It's hilarious. So it's like when there's all these, like, loud costumes and, like, gorgeous makeup stylings, and then there's just him. He's the most just basic thing about this.
Who was the makeup
Um,
artist for Flash? Oh, it's Mario DeSalvo. That makes sense. Massimo de Rossi
yes.
and Mario DeSalvo were the hair and makeup artists, the keys for the film. Um, they also, at the time, were doing like weird, pulpy, high fashion type makeup that
Mhm.
eventually inspired Alexander McQueen runway looks.
Oh, I love that. Ah, and I love Alexander McQueen. And a lot of the use of, like, the Italian costume designers and, like, the, support teams and all of that was actually Dino De Laurentiis like, from Dino De Laurentiis. Like, he saw what was going on with all of the Western, like, spaghetti Westerns, but
Mm-hmm.
he wanted that for fantasy. So I think that is really cool that you can kind of think of Flash Gordon as almost like its own spaghetti western,
Oh
but
yeah,
fantasy,
I'm gonna have
which
to
I didn't
rewatch it
really think
through
of.
that lens now.
Okay.
Because
So
it was
I
also
do
Mhm.
I'll have to I'm gonna save this for part two,
Okay,
but remind me of Zardoz.
Yes, I will
Zardoz.
remind you of Zardoz.
Yes, Zardoz. I I think it's also fascinating that he was so, like, throwing everything into this film that he had all the actors sign on for multiple films, but
Mm-hmm.
this movie did so, so poorly, so unexpectedly poorly that sequels were never made, and one of the things that I found fascinating
Well,
was that the only countries that it really did well in were the UK and Italy. So, that's sad.
the
But
people in
okay,
London, like, honey, let's go watch this foreign film.
right? but it was also filmed in the UK, so it's
Oh
probably a
my
lot of the people who
god.
worked on it telling their families, "Go see this movie I worked on, it's great."
That's insane.
So, part 2 is what are the D&D connections to this film?
Okay.
So, there actually is not an official Dungeons& and Dragons game based on Flash Gordon, the movie, but there is an unofficial RPG called the Savage World of Flash Gordon. It is a
Okay.
system that is made specifically for this universe of Mongo. It uses rules light system, so it's quick, simple, narrative based mini games. So it's not going to be your long style campaign, but it does have the characters. It's got the ships and the locations from a lot of the comics and the films. So I thought that was really fascinating because, like, if there are smaller unofficial games, but there's never been like a Flash Gordon like officially licensed game. Then we have an RPG from 1977 called Flash Gordon and the Warriors of Mongo. This
Okay.
one was cited to be like the very first role-playing game that was based on a pre-existing media property. But it's almost considered like one of the sites that I was reading is like there's not an official book on it, so a lot of it is considered lost, which
Hmm.
I thought was also really interesting too. Because it's like if it's an unofficial, you can just probably take from the comics and from the movie like as you want. But there were no like rules to it, I guess.
Interesting.
Unlike yeah, which I thought was weird. Like unlike Savage World of Flash Gordon and the Warriors of Mongo didn't have like an official book.
Hmm.
But like I'm sure, people probably made their own homebrew content. There have been on Reddit and I found on YouTube that and Dungeon Master's Assistants actually, there are some Flash Gordon 5e supplements that people have
Ooh.
made, like just as fans. And the one thing that I thought was really, really cool as well is that Dungeons and Dragons Spelljammer from 1989 is particularly inspired by Flash Gordon. It's got the I don't know much about Spelljammer. I was like, is it a spell that gets jammed? What is it? But it's a ship, apparently.
Well, it's
Oh,
two things. It's a ship and it's a campaign setting.
yes.
So whereas back then, especially, all of the campaign settings were very disparately related. Some of this will actually be digging into in my topic.
Fun.
But you had Planescape, Spelljammer, Greyhawk, Dragonlance, Faerun. They were all widely different, but
Mhm.
Spelljammer was the very like Flash Gordon-y space, and there is the eponymous Spelljammers.
Nice. That's cool.
Yes.
Spelljammers function similar to nautiloids in how they surf their
Yeah.
way through the planes of existence and whatnot. We'll actually be getting into a little bit of Spelljammer because they have directly tied it to Faerun and the Forgotten Realms now, and I'm
Hmm.
very
Yeah.
excited for it.
I read
To be
that
fair, it's
it's like
been
one of it was like the unifying thing that took like all of the other AD&D settings and
And
like
brought them in.
crossed them it was considered like the first true like crossover of all these RPGs, which I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I want to get more into this because it sounds like Treasure Planet and I freaking love that movie.
It's very Treasure Planet and also might lead to some answers about Doc's dad
Ooh.
and the voices in his head.
Is he like
yeah.
because it's like I know they use like the outer space like environments and it's
Mhm.
like astrophysics and like Earth is the center of the universe and there's like ships with their own gravity fields and like atmospheres. That is so cool.
Hmm.
Very like sword and sorcery, but make it steampunk Jules Verne space.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very much so.
Oh
Jules
yeah.
I
Verne
think one of the
space is
first.
a phrase that needs to be explored by artists. If you watch this show and you just heard us say Jules Verne space, please do something with that and share it with us.
I I would love to see a Jules Verne spacey like campaign. That'd be so fun.
Um,
Or like
on
other
the
and other space campaigns.
on the note too of like Spelljammers and things like that, there's probably more before this. Do not I'm not going to die on this hill. But the first one I'm aware of is in Baldur's Gate 2. When you go to the Underdark, when you go to Menzoberranzan, there is a spelljammer parked there, or specifically a nautiloid spelljammer.
Ooh.
And so there's part of a quest line that's there, and you got to destroy a mind flayer colony. It's a whole thing. But there might have been earlier drippings of it throughout things, because that wasn't until I think 99 or 2000.
Though the
for that, so
implication
that
that they had
being...
to just like portal into the Underdark to hide and just stayed there did make me chuckle.
Interesting. Well, that was my very quick fire Flash Gordon. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm very much interested in the whole, like, how it has inspired other sci-fi fantasy films. This one, not so much.
I'm making that into an audio bite for the channel. It's gonna be the notification for something. Now I don't like it. Out of 10.
It is campy.
How many dragons? Because you have to remember, you gave a goose egg to the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, a dragon egg.
Is this
worse? I know. Well, that one, okay, that was worse. I will say that was so much worse. This one, because I like the costumes and I do like some of the darker undertones, I'll give it a solid 1.
All right.
Give it a solid 1 dragon.
I can deal with 1 out of 10 dragons. It's an improvement on the D&D movie.
Nothing is worse than that, let me tell you.
I can. Maybe you need to watch Zardoz. Maybe because of this, we'll
you need to watch
Zardoz.
We need to show you The Room.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I only know it from the memes.
We are bad movie connoisseurs in this house.
I love it.
Oh,
He'll say,
my God.
All right, DM.
So, because this is our first Thieves Guild of the new year, when I was thinking of topics, I was like, okay, what's something a little like New Year-ish? And I was like, okay, how does New Year, New Me, self-improvement, and that theme kind of tie into Dungeons and Dragons? And I was thinking about how we interact with the game, and that level of importance that it has to us, that like when we take a break week, we're all like, I know I need a break week, but I kind of want to be playing D&D right now.
Yeah.
And because I've been hearing a lot of it as, oh, the loneliness epidemic. I was like, I wonder if D&D could solve the loneliness epidemic. Because, like, a lot of the things that these people are describing, like, I socialize through D&D. I get to write story and things like that. And you guys get to experience being heroes. And we all get to just exist in this world that it has theoretical stakes. It doesn't have real world stakes. If I, say something stupid, I'm not going to be thinking about it 10 years from now. Yes.
Question, and feel free to cut this, but are we talking about the actual loneliness epidemic or the very made up, and I do mean that genuinely, male loneliness epidemic?
Well,
see, this is
I'm
why
actually leaving this in because I'm tackling both parts of this.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that, because frankly, as a non-binary person who most of my friends my whole life have been male, and it has been split evenly down the middle between male friends that can take constructive criticism and male friends that can't, and watching which ones are now like, oh, I'm part of the male loneliness epidemic. Like, yeah, that's why I don't talk to you anymore. You're a nightmare.
Oh my God.
Like, I wanted to tackle both parts of this. So, in December 2023, Johns Hopkins University, I don't know why I'm looking at you guys over here. I keep doing that. but I can't close the Discord window. So it's not like I can just like minimize it and ignore it. You're over here too. In December 2023, Johns Hopkins published a study on the effects of coupling D&D with professional therapy. The 3-year study basically found that players who used the allotted camp time at the end of their session to reflect upon the parallels between the session and their lives and how that made them feel showed greater improvement in the processing of complex feelings and situations than those who did not. They also found that this technique could be applied to nearly all fields of mental and psychiatric health, which I thought was very interesting. Because that suggests that you could have somebody on the brink of a serious mental illness and potentially help them with D&D. And I love that. So
That's cool.
Yeah, right? When they realized this, they were the group's called Skills Quest. Skills Quest, when they realized this, took the group to Peabody University during finals week to basically see if its healing properties could maybe help out with the stress of finals, diminish some of those deep, dark, lurking feelings about having to take finals and the stress that goes with it, and it worked a treat. It did so well with like reducing the stress and giving people an opportunity to socialize outside of the realm of let's talk about finals, let's talk about school, oh, all I'm thinking about is finals, that it's now a permanent fixture at Peabody University, and membership in the club spikes every midterm and final season because people need a place to just like decompress.
Yeah.
Well, if I had to guess too, part of it is, and this is me just kind of guessing here, but like how I kind of feel with that too is probably, you ever hang out with like coworkers outside of work and then they keep talking about work and you're like, shut up. We're
Bro, I don't
hanging
want
out.
to talk about work right now.
Like D&D really forces that, really creates this like, no, we are somewhere else. That all goes away.
Unless you're all theater majors and everybody wants to be a bard, and yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing I don't want to.
We cannot account for every actor from Modesto.
I am an actor. Oh, you're from Modesto, aren't you? How did you know?
How'd you know? I had a feeling.
Yeah, if I had to guess, one of those things where it's there's an old concept of spaces of play that like have their own strict rules and guidelines around them, and like because again, like it's like, no, we are doing this thing, everything else goes away, and you can just step out and forget everything and just have fun.
100%.
Like regardless of even being of the camp time to like look at your parallels and be a little introspective, but also just the quieting everything else.
100%. Well, it's like in part 2, I'm going to go over kind of the crossover between this as a play space and kink as a play space, and the many ways in which that intersectionality of those behaviors and those mindsets creates healthy gaming spaces and healthy cultures of consent.
Interesting.
Here's where we get into the male loneliness epidemic.
Oh, poor me.
So, Dr. Niobe Way, she's a professor of developmental psychology at NYU, has a whole paper on basically why this happens. Because as much as I would love to be like, it's a manufactured epidemic, these are actually real problems that can still be addressed, even if the problem isn't what people think it is. Mm-hmm. So
it's both. It's nuanced.
It's nuanced. It's complex. But Niobe says, as boys get older, the boy culture that discourages soft skills leads boys to disconnect from their soft sides. Boys begin to disconnect from their ability to listen to themselves and others with curiosity. And to some extent, our culture does this to all of us, but it's really pronounced for boys. And when they cut off their curiosities and that ability to listen to themselves, they cut off their emotional and relational intelligence. we start to disconnect from ourselves because we can't express a softer, more vulnerable side, the side where all of our non-filtered, non-socially constrained feelings exist. It's not like your soft side, like your nurturing, caring, your mothering side, which is how it's gotten misconstrued. Your soft side is all of those feelings that have soft borders to them, all of those more amorphous sides of ourselves. And Way says you have to be willing to be vulnerable and soft to be connected with other people. So once you're not willing to do that, you have a hard time with other people in general. And for boys and men, like more pronouncedly, this is resulting in depression, anxiety, loneliness, frustration, and oftentimes that sense of alienation and isolation builds into anger. Most people that read her work seem to be prone to believing that this issue is strictly limited to like boys and teens, but I think I beg to differ because we are in this state where many people do not mentally develop much beyond that teen stage because we've taught them that, like, oh, life peaks in high school. This is just who you are now. I say look no further than your mom's empty stocking and your sister's dating horror stories, and you're going to find that the truth is way, way more horrifying. I mean, I think we're all pretty in that basket of like, we can see it, the three of us at least.
Yeah. A bit anecdotally, and I'm going to get a little heavy and a little trauma dumpy here. So I'm sorry.
It's okay. Warning. The viewers will relate.
But even though I'm non-binary, they pulled me out of my shell and were like, "Oh, yep, boy." And my biological mother was not the best person in the world to me growing up, and this is one of the many things I still struggle with is letting myself cry in front of even the people absolutely closest to me, because I had been smacked for crying, for showing too much emotion, anything that wasn't me being angry. And the thing is, too, where that anger was directed, if it was directed at my, bio mom, then, well, that was wrong, too. But, and while, like, I started when I was in my late teens and early 20s, like, to not be introspective, I did start becoming more introspective before getting into D&D, but that only skyrocketed after playing for even a few months of being more and more and more introspective with things and being more communicative and more open about things when I started playing D&D regularly with people that were already close to me. So I know it's a bit anecdotal, but I mean, and
this
again,
is one of those spaces where anecdotes, I think, are helpful.
Yeah. And while there were other things that I was doing to try to better myself and like recognizing early that like, oh, I'm engaging in some awful behaviors that are very, very, very toxic and are toxically enforced. And while it's not my choice per se, I'm not doing any good by letting this control me and this dictate my life. But D&D was a big help in that. D&D was a massive, massive, massive factor in that.
100%. I had a weird experience of being socialized as both male and female in some pretty bizarre ways growing up. And it led to me just like stonewalling people. It was a lot of toughen up, buttercup, at the very wrong times. Yeah. But also a lot of you're just so harsh, you're so unapproachable. Or, as my most recent workplace told me, this is seriously, one of my bosses told me this, you have to be aware that there's a certain perception of you. You know you're cold, right?
You?
Me?
You? No. Wow, that's fun.
Yeah. So like D&D was also one of those spaces that when I got into it in high school, it allowed me to go, I don't have to be me right now. I don't have to be me right now. I don't have to meet those expectations. I can just be this character because this isn't my life. I should not have the expectations of my character that are had for me. That would be messed up. And I think it just
You
go ahead.
you first. I'll tack on after. This is your topic.
I think that it can be this really incredible playground for learning about the human condition and what it means to be strong and heroic and emotionally intelligent and generally more attractive in personality and your ability to relate to others and make them feel not only safe in themselves but also safe with you because you get to like explore socializing in different ways or as other genders and experience meaningful connection to stories and others in ways that you wouldn't normally get that opportunity to. I think it can
Yeah.
have some really good impacts on how you relate to the outside world now that you've experienced these things in a controlled environment.
Well, not only controlled. So what I was going to say actually blends perfectly in this. It's not even a controlled environment too, but it's also the judgment-free environment. It's the
Yes.
Yeah.
like it's the there is no wrong answer. Like with a good DM, with a good DM and a good play group. I'm not even expecting people saying in good of like, oh, these are the best players. They know the rules perfectly and they come up with the best things, the best narratives. Like, no, just people who are understanding of the basics of everything is okay here. There's no wrong answers. There's nothing you can do incorrect. It's just how do we navigate to A, B, C, and D in this moment with your choices. But so I think a big part of that is the fact that like with a good group, it is a judgment-free zone. It's a like you can really experiment. That's again tangentially and anecdotally how many stories I see of groups that are started out all male and they've been friends for 20 years and half of them are women. Nobody moved.
Yep.
Nobody moved. It's still the same group of people.
Well, there's
And I
there's
love
also
that
that
because
one. Go ahead.
I'll finish real quick. But I love that. I love the fact that you can see the effect that like because a good group doesn't judge you based on what you do, you can really experiment and let yourself out of a shell.
Yeah. 100%.
You were saying,
No,
Megan?
I was gonna say, wasn't there that like one Dungeons and Dragons group from in like Canada that has been together for like 40 something years and they just made like the Guinness Book of
They
World Records
just
for like
played their
longest.
last session
Yeah.
for this campaign. Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like it's 40 something years. That's insane. I love that. So
And they're
I
still
hope they're
running on
doing
AD&D.
good.
No, I'm kidding. I don't remember what rules that they're using.
I don't remember like what if they've moved on from that, but that's so cool. I
It
love
ran for
that.
40 years because they were taking a day to, figure out someone's initiative. Sorry, no, that's
Hang on,
Pathfinder.
gotta
That's
grab my
Pathfinder 3.5,
calculus
which can
book.
get. Sorry, I love Pathfinder. It's good. Oh my god, it gets number crunchy.
So
You
many
can
math.
spend so much time crunching numbers.
Well, I don't like math.
I'm bad at math, but it's because I was taught wrong. I'll get into that in part 2 too.
I
I
like
will tell
math,
that
that's not
story
why
in
I
part
sit
2.
down for D&D.
I think I was taught wrong too, but my
Yeah, I like-
mom's dad tried to teach it to us and he was an
Oh,
engineer,
boy.
so
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
god.
He thinks pi is 3.
And gravity is 10.
And gravity's 10, yeah. What are some experiences that you guys have had that you feel improved your daily life, your emotional regulation, or situations that maybe you weren't sure how to handle before, either internally or externally, that you feel like D&D has made you more equipped to handle. And I don't mind if you guys get heavy, I don't mind if you guys get deep, I don't mind if you guys get sappy. Because like that's what this is for. This is very much a demonstration and not a thought exercise for the people who are watching this.
For sure.
Well, I mean, there was that time that someone tried to mug me, and then I pulled out dice and told him to roll for initiative first, and then he got weirded out. But I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're like,
I'm so
well,
kidding.
wait, are you
That
serious?
was the most deeply unserious answer you could have given. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure it will
science.
help someone.
For science, though, I need.
I think maybe if you did
try
that,
it.
someone like might be just like, "What the fuck's happening? I'm leaving. I'm out of here."
You just have dice in your back pocket, like, all right, roll for initiative, though.
I mean, I've got enough.
Oh, that's a satisfying sound.
Oh, Logan
Anyway,
found his
Megan, you
sweet-
first with the actual story of to answer Nana's question.
Let me take Logan's ball away from him first. Okay. He found the one spooky ball, and I was like, "Not
Yeah,
today, Logan. Not today." Sorry, buddy. Now he's looking at me like, "What the freak, mama?" Anyway, okay. So I have not been playing Dungeons and Dragons very long. My very first campaign, really, the only time I was like interested in it was 2020 during the pandemic. So I did not start Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. Where like I think it would have helped me a lot. To like I was, according to my family, very dramatic. But and like I fought with my sister, my older sister, all the time. And so I feel like if I had started playing D&D as a kid, as a teenager, got like even in like college, I think it really would have. I know, Logan. Sorry, but he put his face in my
I
lap.
just saw nose at a corner of screen.
He's so sad.
Oh
Sorry,
my
buddy.
god.
I feel like if I had started playing earlier, it really would have helped me regulate those emotions that I had instead of just red face screaming about why I felt like I was being like oppressed as the middle child. Which truth. I think it really, yeah, like it I feel like the emotions that I carried over into adulthood, like I wouldn't have had to do as much therapy as I have for those emotions, especially when it came to like family situations, if I was able to take the time to sort of get into that and unpack that in a Dungeons and Dragons setting, like with my best friends who knew me and understood me and accepted that. So recently, though, as an adult, it has helped me like get over some grief issues that I've had with like, not to get too heavy, like the loss of my mom, and then 3 months later the loss of her father, my papa, the engineer, um when I was 20. So I carried this grief and these emotions for like 10 years, and then I was able to kind of work through that while playing, and it felt like a weight. It feels like a weight, like a deep pit in your stomach just gets like lifted away from you, and it feels so nice. So I really appreciate Dungeons and Dragons and like fantasy settings and these kind of things for doing that for me. If that answers your question.
Absolutely it does.
Okay, get your ball.
I'd say for me, a lot of it would mirror your experience in that first half of like, I think there's a lot of emotional growth that could have gone through a lot sooner, and a lot more emotional maturity I could have had a lot sooner in life had I been playing since I was a kid. But I didn't, like my brothers never play, like we played Magic, the other big WotC, property, but that's so very, very different game. Like I had played like a session in lunch in high school with a group of friends, but they didn't teach me anything. It was a nightmare.
Oh
And
no.
like, I played the first Baldur's Gate game and the second one, but it's very, very different because you do not inhabit the character in the same way. Which is something I do really feel like the 3 does much, much better than 1 and 2 did. Is it really does kind of put you into the space of the character. Back to your question though, for me, I'd say just helping navigate and like explore my own identity, and just allowing myself to be myself, and however weird and wacky way I think that is going to show itself.
Yeah.
Is really the biggest thing. Is it just allowed that kind of comfort and that safety that I can start trying things and then letting those bleed out further into my life.
So, for me, and this is part of why I chose this topic, is the ways in which D&D has improved and continued to improve my life are somewhat innumerable at this point. But the biggest thing that I've noticed that I learned from D&D that I carry through and I try to teach to you guys and to anyone else who sits at my table or watches this is you don't know what the male gaze is. You don't know what the female gaze is until you sit down at a table with a bunch of your friends. And then it becomes very clear that the male gaze is, okay, but can I turn this stick into a sword? Does it do cool thing? Like, it very clearly expresses the, like, wow, she's hot. That's literally a monster. I don't care. She's hot. Like, or the female gaze of, ah, why do you like that NPC? I don't know. He just kind of listens to me. This is great. He's done. I don't know. I just said there's something about that weird vampire guy. I am into freaky little guys. Like, once you sit down around a table, I feel like if you have the right mix of people, and by the right mix of people, I mean people who genuinely come from different backgrounds, people who live different lifestyles, it taught me so much about how they see me, how they see the world, how they see themselves, and what those expectations are for them, and the ways that people want to be interacted with, not the way that society demands it. And I think it just kind of loops back around to this can be applied to almost any mental health situation, no matter what you're feeling, even if you've gotten so far as anger at the isolation and the alienation. It's very easy to reach across the table and go, hey, do you want to play D&D? So what am I suggesting? Dungeon Masters, I want you to consider your stories and what it is that you're asking your players to experience. Don't shy away from genuine roleplay interaction, and don't let gendered or romantic and aromantic thinking get in the way of allowing your players the experience of truly being vulnerable and emotionally free with an NPC and with each other. No one of your players, nor you, should ever assume that because you've just had a romantic interaction at the table, that suddenly carries over to real life. Everyone at that table understands that they are there and they are safe with each other. So, yeah, wife up your best bro. Have that relationship. Experience that. Help each other grow. Because your players are giving you just as much opportunity to grow as you are giving them. Do not let it be a waste. Players, I know that it's really hard to look at your friends and see anyone else, but I ask you humbly to sit down at the table with an open heart and an open mind, and to dissociate the face of your dungeon master from that of the friend it usually represents. Allow yourself that incredible experience of stepping wholly into your character and give yourself over to the fantasy of being a hero. Because that's not something we usually get to do in our regular lives. And, not to get a little sappy, but to my players, thank you for giving yourselves over to the story that I've woven for you week after week. I care for you all so deeply that I happily forgo a rare chunk of my free time and my likely short time on this plane of existence to making sure you all get to experience being your most heroic selves, and that I'm creating opportunities for you guys to grow and become more confident and comfortable both around the table and in life. And thank you guys for giving me your trust and for constantly reminding me that I've never misplaced mine in all of you. It is truly, truly world changing to be able to tell these stories with you. And it makes me so happy. And I am a better person consistently for it. And if you're a DM watching this and you just scoffed at that, I want you to rewind to the beginning of this segment and watch it again. Watch it again and again and again until you get it. Because it is your job. You are the steward of these players. And you should take that very seriously. Now tell me more about VECNA.
Yeah.
Stop being sappy.
Yeah, give me a
Thank
second.
you, Nana.
Stop it. I'm supposed to be the one that tears up at all the things.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I don't have my fan on me. Dang it, I can't partake.
Okay.
Oh,
I keep my lock loaded.
I have the
Yeah.
remember
Have my
to
hand
respect
out.
the dungeon. There we go.
I love that
have
you kept
my
that.
desk too.
Oh,
I
Of course, I
did.
got mine too.
Of course. I keep it with all my D&D
Oh.
stuff.
I need to get
Yeah, no,
I need to get
it's-
them to Kelly
it's
because
next
she
to
did
my
her
snacks.
session 0 digitally. Oh, my nose itches. Oh no.
Oh no, it's not there. It's in here somewhere. I'll find it. I thought it was with my snacks. It's not with my snacks, but I know
Same
it's in
with
here.
all my combat cards.
I love that those are useful to you.
Oh, why did you get your ball again? I thought I threw it far enough. It's a squeaky ball.
We can't hear it on our end, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
okay,
we're
okay.
good.
That's what I was worried about, is that y'all could hear it.
No, you're so
Okay,
okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So, number 1, word to the wise: do not write a 3-page series of notes on VECNA up until 6 in the morning and then go directly to sleep. You're gonna have weird VECNA dreams
I love it.
that you can't answer.
And you're gonna really
Weird.
confuse your
not-
partner when you wake them up with the statement, "Don't look up VECNA before going to bed."
It,
And
yeah,
to be
very,
clear,
very much a bad idea.
we're talking D&D, Dungeons and Dragons VECNA, not Stranger Things VECNA.
Yes.
Yes.
So
On the day of recording, Stranger Things the finale drops. So
Yes, correct.
Oh.
Though,
yes.
to be clear, they are technically the same VECNA because they are just
Yes.
using this as a frame of reference for the threat level of a thing that they don't yet understand. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so VECNA, that VECNA is not one and the same with VECNA of D&D. Much like how the Mind Flayer or the Demogorgon are not one and the same. It's what the thing, and the one thing that I did love about Stranger Things was it was a way for these children to identify something that us adults don't have words for. These
yeah.
eldritch abominations, and they give name to it and meaning to it, and not necessarily power to it, but ways to defeat it. Because I know this thing from a game, so that means I can figure out how to get this thing down. If I can kill that thing, I can kill this thing.
Yeah.
And I love that. That was beautiful, and it's a great allegory. It is a little frustrating when people think they're one and the same, because it's so obvious that, like, no, it's a children's copium is what it's the name's coming from. But aside, so Vecna has been around since specifically 1979. He's one of D&D's biggest bads. Now, if I were to list off biggest bads, he is one of them.
Oh,
but I've got
God.
a list, and I'm probably going to talk about every single one of these guys at some point. You have Strahd, Orcus, Acererak, Clouth, Zariel, Lolth, Tiamat, Dendar, Vlaakith, Xanathar, Halaster Blackcloak, the
Oh,
Demogorgon,
God, Halaster.
Asmodeus. Yeah, the Demogorgon, Asmodeus, Auril, and my personal favorite, because she is good guy, bad guy, good guy, bad guys, Tasha the Witch Queen. Igwiliv. I love her. Oh my god, I love Tasha so much.
I have her book.
Yes. I have her on all background, 3 different arts on each 3 different monitors.
Nice.
I love
There's one
Tasha.
that looks like
She's
Marisha
awesome.
Ray, and I think it's my favorite Tasha art ever, because now I will never not picture Tasha as looking like Marisha Ray.
That's not my favorite one. I have a different one that's my favorite, but that is one of them, and I do love that art still. So one thing I actually learned in reading this too is how many things are not just like old D&D and have been around for a long time, are in the original Dungeon Master's Guide from 79. So Vecna originally did not exist, just the hand and eye. And there was nothing written about him other than he was a long dead lich, and who it was incredibly powerful when he was around. There is no other information other than that he had a bodyguard, Kaz. Not even that what happened between the two of them. None of this is written. And even then, the hand and eye don't have a lot of rules written about them. The eye can't be removed. The hand can, but every time you use it, there's a stacking chance that it can't be removed. So it's like every time you use it, it's a 10% chance you can't remove it up until either you reach 100% or if you try to remove it, you fail. It permanently changes your alignment to match Vecna's, and the rest of the powers and drawbacks were actually all DM decided. But the thing I found when I was trying to like find like the publication, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through Vecna's history, but as we received it, not in chronological order per se. So that's why, like, at first we know nothing about him. And part of why I want to do this is I love seeing how things change, especially when you have characters that have unreliable narration around their history, or there's myth and rumor and legend, because you can see it build and spread as time goes on, and how they will contradict something on purpose.
Oh God,
because it adds to the mystery. I love that. It's a big thing I like about Warhammer when they retcon something, because it just adds to the this is just a history 10,000 years in the making. Of course people have it wrong. When I was researching this, though, I was pouring through the original DM's guide, and there are things in there. There's so much in there that I didn't realize is so old, like the Ring of Spell Storing, the Orb of Dragonkind. I'm pretty sure I saw Legacy of the Masters in there. There are so many things that are so old that, like, wow, they actually, like, I knew things were old, but I assumed a lot of this stuff was AD&D, and that, you know, our first book was very, very skint on rules. I didn't realize how deep the rules were.
WizKids also has a relics series that includes a ring of spell storing, the eye and hand of Vecna, among with a bunch of other like legacy and legendary items. Which, if you want to gift us one of these WizKids relics, they're on the throne.
3-foot kobold.
There's a red one and a blue one. You know who gets which one.
My main Baldur's Gate 3 that character that I play, she got the left hand of Vecna from the Djinn in the camp. I was very confused. I was like,
my favorite. I cannot.
What does this do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's no magic in it at all.
You reminded me of one of my favorite bits, though. I cannot remember, but there was a story of a party that they found the head of Vecna, and they went through 3 party members trying to attach it to realize that it was not real. Which, to be fair, is the scientific method. Like, 2 is hardly a pattern.
But that's a lot of party members to go through just to test it.
To decapitate. And now he's dead.
Oh, God.
Me personally, I'm a kind of like, 2 is good enough. I'm not going to trust a bad result for number 3. We're moving on.
I mean,
but
hey,
what's the scientific method? And that was their reasoning, apparently.
The comedy in 3s. So, comedy in 3s. Once it hits 4, it's not funny anymore.
Until you hit like 5, then it comes back around. Sometimes 6, but anyway, in 2nd edition, then his lore and backstory is really expanded upon in 1989's Dungeon Master's Guide for AD&D.
I found one sour.
It's under this. Did you get, which one did you have?
I finally found the sour and the pink lemonade one.
Ooh, yum.
It's nuclear. I've been telling you, it's awesome, but it is nuclear.
This is the first time it's tasted nuclear.
Anyway, now that you're done dying, so it's under the hand is more of his backstory. That's but it's still very light, and it's more talking about how the hand was severed by Cass, his bodyguard, still not even called Lieutenant yet, still not even called Cass the Bloody-Handed or anything like that, or his vampirism, still nothing. That Cass is the reason that the hand and eye are severed, and the reason for his destruction, and that was pretty much it. It wasn't until the 1990 adventure, the first of many Vecna adventures, VECNA Lives, where he is no longer just a lich, but he is now a demigod. He has a cult of worshippers, which all have roles. There are 2 called the Hand and the Eye that are horrifying. The hand his head looks like a sentient hand. It's gross. Hang on. It's fucked.
Logan's still looking at the ball that I'm sitting on. I'm literally sitting on it. I'm like, where is it? Where is it?
Don't move too much or it'll squeak and he'll know where it is.
Boom. Okay. This is one of them. This is the hand, and I have the eye.
Oh.
These are some of his. But like, there are several cultists.
The eye is kind of awesome.
Oh.
The hand is freaky to
cool.
me. The eye is kind of badass.
No, I don't like either of those.
The hand has a mask that has a face. How does it still? How does the thing put that on? And someone's like, "Oh no, that's not a fuck thing underneath there."
The hand just holds it.
It looks like the mask from The Mask.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
But there's several ranks. There's the teeth, the blood, the heart. There's all these different ranks in the cult of Vecna. It's really cool.
I'm so
and
good.
then like these 2 specifically are monsters that you have to fight at some point. But because of this cult, he is ascended to at least demigodhood. Because of worship, he does achieve some form of apotheosis. And this is where we learn that of his goals and motivations is to become not just a god, but he wants to overtake Ao, as it were. He wants to become the god of gods. He
wants to
really
become
trying
the
to go for that.
over-deity, which means he's trying to take out the DM.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And honestly, like putting it that
threat.
way really, really does like kind of add the weight to how dangerous he is and how crazy he is. His also, so the plane he is stuck to originally is the Greyhawk campaign, one of D&D's oldest and first campaigns on the planet of Earth, spelled Oerth.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, our Earth? What?
No.
No.
Earth.
Thank God.
Some people swear it's pronounced Worth.
No, it's
Or
Earth,
ER.
because how we spell it is pronounced Earth.
Yes. So he's given multiple backstories already off the rip in this. So he says one theory is positive.
Your brain did. Our brains both went to the same place of, you can't have that planet. It's a sanctuary. We're using it to rebuild the mosquito population.
And mine went to he's on an unknown planet. Yarth. So little Yarth. I was like,
We're so sorry.
I don't know how I know. It's more so how did I miss the joke? Is this the size at me?
Tricky fish.
She has chosen me as her perch.
Anyway, so even in his first, like, okay, we're actually going to flesh this backstory out now, he's still given multiple backstories right off the get-go. One that he hails from a long dead kingdom, another names the kingdom itself and posits that his domain spread to outer planes. Some stories have him as a slaver, others as a powerful warlord, some even stating that he was responsible for the Bright Desert in Greyhawk, which is a just awful place. Some accounts have him listed as human, some as half-elven, some as elven. Regardless,
Not that he has ears that we would even be able to use to reference.
Yeah, that's part of like the fun too. But regardless, eventually he does grow old and starts to come to fear his death and starts looking for ways to overcome it. Some tales say that he imprisoned his own death, keeping it from him, that is a cool concept. If that was it, that one's really, really cool. Another has him offending the greater powers and take his death from him and forcing him to live in between life and death.
I also love that.
Yeah, as a punishment for him manipulating magic in the way that he does. Another has him conducting rituals in order to achieve lichdom in the more classical sense. Here, though, we also do learn of his history with Kaz and VECNA. Now, Kaz is a lieutenant and rises through the ranks to become his top lieutenant and then his right-hand man and his second in command. During this time, VECNA gets bored with having to be a warlord and ruler and starts really shifting on what to do with my undeath. And this is where he comes to find his godhood, and he gives Cass a sword that is imparted with some of his power. His power is part of his own soul, though, giving the sword sentience. And basically the weapon starts playing to Cass's vanity and seducing him and gets Kaz to betray VECNA. Which is really funny because it's I feel like it's the meme with the dude standing behind himself shooting himself.
This sword sounds very familiar.
Are you referencing mine?
Yeah.
Oh no, mine is wildly different. It is still a sentient weapon.
Yeah, that's what I was like, hold
But
on.
mine is
This sounds
way
very
funnier.
familiar.
And
I will-
way dumber.
It's way dumber too. This is like cool but edgy and dark. Mine is like if I could go
Little
cross-eyed
goofy.
at Will easily, I would, but yeah. But yeah, the sword eventually convinces Kaz that he should be in charge and that he should take over and usurp Vecna.
Mhm.
And he attempts so, and does destroy Vecna's physical form, leaving only behind his hand and his eye. Now, basically what's found is there's nothing left other than these two and a pile of ash.
Ooh.
The ash is there because Cass, in this attack and this betrayal, got shunted to the plane of ash by Vecna as punishments. He has a like fortress there and imprisons Cass there as a fuck you for trying this shit.
Ooh.
It's kind of funny, actually. It's a little fucked. It's kind of funny.
Oh my god. Was that the guy? Oh,
the-
no. That just came through the portal I opened to the dimension made of ash.
Yeah. It's
Spoiler
he didn't
alert,
get turned
it's
to
where
ash.
we
That's
store
just
ATs.
I don't know why my mind thought the 80s. I was like, oh, that's where all of the 80s is stored? Cool. It's like, makes sense. All of the 80s is stored there.
Yeah. So Vecna now is stuck on the plains, or the plane of Greyhawk, but lacking corporeal form. And because the cult that finds his relics, his physical relics, they begin to worship them, and he does achieve a semi-apotheosis, but this is not enough for him. He wants more. There's always going to be more with him. You'll finally realize, you'll learn very quickly that never enough. During Cass's time in the negative plane of ash, the energies turn him into a vampire. But because he's not turned into a vampire in the traditional sense, he lacks a big weakness that vampires have. He doesn't need to go to ground. He can't be when his mortal form is destroyed and he turns gaseous, you can't go track down a body and kill it. He's just gonna come back. So one big way to kill him, you were just robbed of. And it was really, really fun.
But unfortunate for anyone who wants to kill him.
So the adventure has the players trying to stop Vecna. He is now amassing the power thanks to this cult to achieve his apotheosis, and it is the adventurer's job to stop him. Now, canonically, you do. Everything's hunky-dory, and he gets shunted off to who knows where. I'll get there in a second. And is able to stop things. Otherwise, if you could, there were like written of what could happen if Vecna were to lose or win, and the players lose. And it basically he reshapes Greyhawk in his image, as it were, like a typical like I am God, all me now, my face on everything.
Bye.
Yeah. No, he's shunted off to Ravenloft. And it's hinted at, and then you have the 1993 Book of Artifacts that does add even further contradiction to the story, saying that Kaz killed Vecna outright in his attempt to usurp Vecna, and both of them were killed. So they're both dead, even though 3 years prior we just had the VECNA Lives adventure. But again, I love this like adding in of no, they're dead. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate the humor in, yeah, he was betrayed by somebody who ended up becoming a vampire, so we shunted him to Ravenloft. Home of
funnier.
The vampire.
Now that I'm like hearing all this and thinking of it, I'm like, damn, there's so many things that the Duffer brothers could have done on Stranger Things and they didn't do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There are so many parallels they could have made.
They could have made this so much.
I haven't watched the last season because I know they're not going to do any of it.
I really want, because I know they said that they're going to have like some spin-offs, and I think it would be really cool to have like a VECNA spinoff.
Yeah, we'll get them in 10 years.
I know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's that is why I just don't care to watch this last season, because like the hype and the excitement is so gone.
That's true. They're supposed to be like 14 years old, and they're all in their 20s now.
Yeah, like the hype has just died for me. Like, I don't mind a year or two between seasons, like a year longer, but this 5 years was ridiculous, and like it's been so long that I would have to rewatch 4 seasons to catch up. I'm good. I don't need to watch it. Anyway, so nothing really is talked about with VECNA until 97, when we get another adventure, VECNA Reborn. Or sorry, incorrect. I read lines wrong. I mixed up lines. 97, the Domains of Dreadbook confirms that VECNA is stuck in Ravenloft. It's 1998 that VECNA Reborn is published. And this is again, he is first off trying to ultimate goal, achieve godhood. Again, he's on it. But the big point of the quest is he's trying to get a physical body back and get revenge on Cass. Because he's in the plane with Cass, and Cass is instrumental. Even though he's a villain, the players do have to realize, like, this guy also hates Vecna, and he's a lesser threat. We should team up with him for a little bit.
Was it the enemy of my enemy
is
my
kind
of sort of my friend? Kind of sort of is my friend. Could also stab me in the back.
Now, if I remember correctly, one of the outcomes is that he can, and I think canonically does, get his physical body back, but he's very weakened, still stuck in Ravenloft. Gaz is still stuck in the Plane of Ash again. Kind of the status quo kind of gets reset mostly. However, in 2000, you get Die Vecna Die, which is a 3-part adventure that ties Ravenloft, Greyhawk, and Planescape direct. Oh yeah. And it ties those 3 together hard, because Vecna is able to escape Ravenloft. Also, it marks a hard transition canonically in universe of why the rules change from 2nd to 3rd edition. Very similar to the Spell Plague from 3rd to 4th, and the Second Sundering from 4th to 5th. That this was one of those first, like, there is a lore reason why things changed. And I love that. I think those are really, really cool. Here, he it invades the City of Doors, Sigil, ruled by the Lady of Pain. Is another really cool character. And this is another one that throws in more contradictions of his story as well, because it adds in now that he learned the secrets of lichdom and achieved lichdom through the serpent. I can't find anything, although this was last night, I was getting real delirious. I could not find who the serpent was. So even more of like just mystery to it. And I love that, of just like, yeah, we gave you an answer, but it confused things and now has another question on to it too. So good luck with that. With the help of the Lady of Pain, the party is able to stop him from taking over Sigil, to then further kind of be another rung on his ladder, and he's shunted off again. With 3rd edition, though, and the printing of those rules, he is ascended to the rank of a lesser deity, although not fully explained how, but it's kind of implied that the prior adventure, Die Vecna Die, is responsible for him becoming a lesser deity. Also, in 3rd edition's book, it is in the 3rd edition also does add into his backstory further that he conquered the Azure Seas, and adds more of like things he could have possibly done that we're not sure of. It's like tiny little bits. In 4th edition, however, you already have the Lich and half-demon Acerarek. And these two are then tied together by so in canon, Vecna is attacked by a group of clerics of Pelor, and he is saved by a Sararak. But this ultimately was a plan by a Sararak to gain favor from the Lich, so that he could also now learn the secrets of Lichdom and become the Sararak that we know today, the creator of the Tomb of Horrors. A very, very famous dungeon crawl that just ganks play. It is a meat grinder of a dungeon.
Jeez.
It is unforgiving.
And I have plans for it.
Is a Sarawak is also tied to one of the modules we have coming up fairly soon, Tomb of Annihilation. Then with the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide, we're given backstory that Orcus, the Prince of Undeath, or Prince of Death, teaches Vecna how to achieve his undeath and lichdom. And he is added to being one of the members of the Dawn War Pantheon, making his age even older than it was originally. He is listed as a deity, full deity, in Greyhawk, and for clerics, he's listed as the a god to use for the Arcana domain. And then in the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, and the Warlock patron, if you need your patron of Undying for that pact, he can be your patron for that. So there's a couple options. Then in 2019, Descent into Avernus is printed, and Joe Manganiello's Arkan the Cruel is added to Faerun's canon from having... I love this whole bit too. This is really cool because of this, you have him plane shifting from Tal'Dorei Wildmount into Faerun with the hand and eye of Vecna. Further, now canonizing Arkan the Cruel as Faerunian now, but also tying Wildmount and Tal'Dorei hard into the entire D&D cosmology and canonizing the events of Vox Machina, as Vecna's the ultimate antagonist of Vox Machina.
Right.
And I just love that, of just like...
Spoiler alert for me.
I mean, it was already talked about. One of his names is the Whispered One.
It's also been over a decade. If you are disappointed by that, spoiler alert.
That's why I said spoiler alert for me specifically. I'm only on episode like 40. I've been on episode 40 for about 2 months now, just because it's like 4 hours long and I don't have time to sit down and listen. But anyway.
Well, for some real spoilers, we got another adventure in 2024 and starring Vecna this time. And this was Vecna, Eve of Ruin. Now, I'm not going to get into full details of this, even though I do know them. This is a fairly new adventure module, so I do want to make sure that even other players who might watch this and want to play this, not just our players, but anyone in the world, doesn't have this ruined. But I will get into... is that, again, it sees Vecna trying to become a greater deity again. Cass is freed from Lavernoth during this time. He is able to walk anywhere he wants to. And it follows... The campaign has a bit of an imposter situation happening, while the party has to, and again, further really tying the worlds together. You are plane shifting from to Eberron, to Dragonlance, to Greyhawk, to a bunch of, I think even the City of Doors. Yes, Tasha is involved, and again, I love Tasha so much. So she's involved in this, trying to stop Vecna, basically collecting the necessary items, tools, and components needed to stop him from ascending. What those are, I'm not going to get into, because again, I don't want to spoil anything. Apparently, this module was to launch a new storyline that's going to be playing out over the next 5 years total. However, we've only gotten the reprint anthology series quests from the Ancient Staircase, the 3 animated series quests, and the Dragon Delved anthology book. So hopefully the next thing is going to be tied to that, because I'm really excited for where that could go if this is like part of a 5-year storyline thing happening, especially since the 2024-25 rules prints really went back to Greyhawk a lot too.
I think that
says a
once we
lot.
catch up, that Wizards should maybe let me write the next step in the VECNA adventure and let me release a guide to how to run a history of the realms or any realm.
I'm hoping that the departure of Perkins and Crawford hasn't halted this story in its tracks. I'm hoping that there was a mutual and beneficial and copacetic arrangement and agreement that, like, hey, here's where this kind of generally is going. Here are the pieces you need. We are on our way. Enjoy yourselves. So I'm hoping that because they left, this isn't just dropped and ended, because that would really suck. But we'll find out. We got 4 years of this, or 3 years now of this 5-year plan.
Nice.
Hopefully soon. Yeah, that's actually, unfortunately, all I have on VECNA.
Damn.
That was a nice little rundown.
Yeah, I love seeing how his story has grown and expanded, and how he is just constantly trying to achieve godhood all the time. That is his whole thing. Like, oh, Vecna's here. Let me guess, godhood.
He wants to be a god.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have a question of the week for you guys this week.
Ooh.
For once.
Ooh.
What is something anywhere in our timeline, a person, a place, or a story that you are most looking forward to getting to and like learning about that you've only like heard about?
Oh my god.
I know mine.
There's so many things, especially because before playing Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't know anything about, I didn't know what the Forgotten Realms were. I didn't know anything. So there's so many things. I don't know if I can name just one.
It's
I mean,
okay. You're allowed to say
you probably
Gale.
know. I clearly about to be like, I mean, you probably already know one.
I'm already working on it. I'm already working on it.
Love that man.
Squishy,
it's mostly Tim
squishy
Downey.
wizard man.
I love that squishy autistic wizard man.
I'm excited for big woman, for big strong woman. Big woman, please.
I kind of also want to like know more about Raphael and like, you know, the House of Hope and that, oh god, what's his name? I'm like blanking, that you find in Act 2. What's his name? Oh, why am I blanking on his name?
Oh,
big
the Orthon.
Yes, the Orthon. I want to know about I want to know more about like I want to know more about like their backstory. It's interesting. He's an interesting character, and I want to know more about him.
Yeah, I am definitely having to weave in some story for some people in other places because they just don't have any.
Yeah. There are plenty of people who are created for Baldur's Gate that we'll have to basically write story for.
Nice.
But Yurgir is a good example. Yurgir is kind of similar to Tasha, for instance, of like villain, but also is like has the brain to go and like is smart and intelligent to go, yeah, villain, but fuck that guy, and we got a bigger problem. Like, I love that. And Tasha's very much in that realm. She can be very self-serving, but she is a protagonist in both Eve of Ruin and in I don't even want to say protagonist, just good guy in Eve of Ruin and Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And I love both of those. I love Tasha. So I'm excited to get to points where we're running into her. I'm excited for Dragonlance. I honestly really, I was worried we wouldn't be able to go there. And then Eve of Ruin allowed us to do that because it's has all of the plane shifting that we'll have to be doing.
I've been getting really into like not all of the like gods, but but certain ones. So I'm like really interested to know more about like Talos and Umberlee and like Lathander. Is that how you pronounce that?
Thunder.
I mean, you could ask him.
Lathander.
Hey, that's an idea. I should ask him.
Like it's been, I don't know, like I'm not religious, but I find religion and like the idea of like fantasy gods fascinating. So
That's the thing I've been playing with my character too, of the like weirdly atheistic but respecting
yeah.
like of understanding of like, yeah, I don't believe in you, but also you are powerful, so I'm going to respect you, and other people believe in you, so I'm not going to trounce on their beliefs just because how I
Yeah.
feel. Like I've been playing, and like it's also kind of insane to be an atheist in this world where the gods do walk among you.
Yeah.
Like they are gods. Yes, they were once people. They are all
Yeah.
gods. It's a little crazy just to be like, still gods. Like,
Powerful
so I'm having
ass
fun
mortals.
with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to be able to go to Dragonlance and Eberron. I know Stu is excited for it. I know Stu's very excited to get to go to Eberron. Yeah, I'm also everything I know about Eve of Ruin has me excited for it. I'm excited for simple ones too, like Descent into Avernus, Tomb of Annihilation. I'm excited for. I'm excited for Rime of the Frost Maiden. That one I'm also quite excited for.
That bitch.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
That bitch.
I am super excited for you guys to meet the Cult of the Dragon Queen.
Oh,
Because
sounds
one of
promising.
my tertiary passions is cult tactics and like the power of persuasion. So I am very curious to see how many of you accidentally cult sympathy. I'm also very excited for the city of Sigil.
What kind of cult are they? Are we talking about like a Waco cult? Are we talking about like an MLM cult? Like what are we talking
They're a
about
death
here?
cult, sort of,
Oh, okay.
but only part of
Okay.
them.
Weird.
Well, okay, so fun fact, the Cult of the Dragon originally doesn't worship Tiamat originally. The Cult of the Dragon originally worships Draco Liches.
Interesting.
And
Tiamat.
And then someone comes in.
Sorry, what? Your face when you just put that all together like that.
Like, oh, I know who that is. Only from the freaking Dungeons and Dragons TV show.
Yes.
It all comes back to Tiamat in the end.
Again, one of many of D&D's big bads who I do want to do an episode on. I want to see what people say of the list I gave earlier. I want to see who chimes off in the comments about which one I should cover next. Because I also kind of like going of doing this like as they've been printed timeline instead of like here's the timeline of the events of their life from their perspective. No. How did
I
it
like the
change for
release
us?
order. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see like how things have changed or been, like either they've been written or been retconned because something else happened here, so let's change it here.
Yeah. But yeah, the Cult of the Dragon is taken over by worshippers of Tiamat to then try to res Tiamat. It's
mostly just a service cult, but there is a portion of it that is a death cult because in order to make aspects of herself, Tiamat has to siphon the soul and life energy out of one of her followers to create an aspect.
Yikes.
So
That's
like,
and again, they started as a death cult because they worshipped Draco Liches.
Yeah. So the ones that are like,
sound very fun.
No, it's fine. I actually kind of prefer this turn of events. If I could just be helpful. Yes, I'm very excited for the city of Sigil. There are some themes that I am not going to talk about because there's a lot of room for writing, and I have done a lot of things with it, and I'm very excited.
Speaking of, I'm excited for Siege on Dragonspear. I'm excited for Out of the Abyss, for Horde.
Oh god, I'm so excited for Out of the Abyss.
For Tyranny of Dragons. I'm excited
You
for.
guys are actually gonna find out tonight why I'm so excited for Out of the Abyss.
I wish I knew what any of these things were.
A lot of these are the modules.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Storm
I
King's
don't
Thunder. I don't think there's one I'm not excited for. I think when I look at the plan and the timeline of events, when I look at it, I'm like, this all is going to be fun. All of it's going to be exciting. I think it's all going to work. So,
to wrap up our show today, just to draw some new people in, I am going to read us the story for PRIL because we're talking about a lot of old modules, we're talking about a lot of old literature, and we're pulling some things in. And for those of you who maybe don't watch our main show just yet, I hope that this will give you the information that you need to understand how seriously and with how much care I am handling all of the source material, because I have Jimmy Neutron Galaxy brain right now. Like it's so much.
And I love it because I only gave you maybe like a couple thoughts of what I want for her backstory, and you just ran with it, and I
Oh yeah, I
love
came
that.
up with your parents and your grandparents' names last night.
Oh no, I have their names though. I have the parents' names. I don't have the grandparents' names. Yeah.
Well, I have your grandparents' names. Send me your parents' names.
I will. I was like, wait, no, I have the parents' names. I don't have the grandparents' names.
All right. A story for PRIL. There once was, because if there wasn't, the story would not be told. In a land far from here, in a kingdom of beautiful and powerful women, a spider sat upon her windowsill. Looking up at the stars and kicking her little spider feet, she often wondered what it would look like if, in fact, there were really stars. The nights were eternal here, and though there was no changing this, the little spider dreamt anyway. She dreamt of skies full of stars reflecting on the surface of a lake not so dark as this one, but just as full of mystery and wonder, and wondered. Every first and last twilight of every living day, she sat and she wandered and she watched. She watched the mooring and launching of the ships, the passing of the bells and the lights of the arcane host tower, the patrolling of the guards, and even the comings and goings of the Archmage himself. But her very favorite time of day was when the pirate came to visit. The pirate came every day just before supper, bearing gifts and strange treats, and news that her mother seemed very pleased to hear. As she grew, his gifts continued, becoming more thoughtful and considerate of the beautiful widow she was becoming. A beaded robe for her announcement, a dagger laced with magic for her admittance to the Sorcerer Academy, books about the overworld which she so longed to know about, and even, on the day of her wedding, a necklace more beautiful than the ruby eyes of her betrothed. When the wedding was over and it was time to go, for a marriage of love had no place in the city of spiders, it was the pirate and his loyal first mate Kimoriel who protected her and the elf she so loved, harboring them to safety in the monastery of the Yellow Rose and giving them shelter with his most trusted allies. In the house of the broken god and the twice martyred, she found a purpose in her magic, and her beloved found peace in serving those who truly deserved it. The pirate came and went throughout their years at the monastery until the little spider decided to embark on an adventure of her own, repaying his kindness by harboring other refugees to the safety of the Golden Grove and Memnon. Soon after, she gave birth to a little spider of her own, One who would never have to sit and wonder what the sky might look like, or be resigned to a life within the gates of a noble's manor. And so the little spider sat, looking up at the glittering heavens and kicking her little spider feet, as she told her daughter about the pirate that saved her from the night without stars. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you want more of this episode, you can join us for Behind Closed Doors, where we answer questions and expound on our topics a bit more and generally let ourselves get a bit more off topic. By becoming a member of the Keep over on our Patreon, you'll get access to behind the scenes videos, campaign lore dumps, bonus episodes of the Thieves Guild, and more by signing up at the link in the description. Otherwise, you can find us over on TikTok at ATK of Opportunity, catch back episodes of both the Thieves Guild and A History of the Forgotten Realms here on YouTube, as well as audio-only episodes of our shows on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and our monthly cozy D&D cooking show, Tales from the Keep. Otherwise, we'll see you live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific for A History of the Forgotten Realms and Friday at 10 for the library. But until we meet again, no, we didn't. Say later, everyone.
Bye.